I've just come straight from a meeting of your union's National Executive Committee, and we felt that the issues we're discussing are of such importance to yourself and to the union that I should immediately convey those decisions to you. Now, first of all, we are asking people to recognise that the situation we're currently in is the most serious the union has ever faced. The onslaught against our members is unrelenting, and now the attack by the government on your union itself threatens our very survival. Faced with that type of onslaught, we have to have very clear decisions that we all unite around to ensure that we can get through all of this and stand up for our members. Firstly, I think it's always worth reminding ourselves that our members have had an unprecedented onslaught against them. Cuts in living standards of up to 20%, pay freezes across the board for many, many years have meant that our already low-paid members are struggling on a daily basis. On top of that, people's pensions have been attacked. We see tens of thousands of jobs being cut, threats of privatisation and office closures. And we have to keep campaigning against these things. As I speak to you, we're in the middle of some very important industrial action in Scotland over the question of pay. We're balloting our members in the National Gallery against privatisation, a strike if members vote for it that will start with a 5-day strike. And in other parts of the union, in DWP, in HMRC and elsewhere, we're in the middle of industrial disputes. It's important that we can win these industrial disputes, and the government know that too. That's why, as well as attacking our members, they are now unleashing a sustained attack on your union that threatens our very survival. No other union in the UK for decades had faced the type of attack that we are currently facing on our members, but also on us. The attempt to bankrupt the union by withdrawing the means of check-off that union members can pay their subscriptions direct from pay. The attempt to essentially bust the unions in departments like HMRC, where they are attacking our representatives, removing facility time and withdrawing from negotiations. In addition to that, we also see the government almost working with some unions in this country, seeking to argue that unless unions are compliant, then they will not talk to them. And recent articles in the press and the formation of bogus staff associations in the civil service also tell us that the government are trying to replace PCS with something that is far more compliant. I think you'll agree with me that that means our survival is at stake. And every decision that we now take must be seen in the context that not only do we need to survive, but we need to ensure that we can get through this and be better organised and better equipped to win many of the industrial battles that lie ahead to protect our members. And that's why we've had to take some very tough decisions over the last few weeks, and indeed over this executive. Now, the first tough decision we've taken is that we need to save £6.5 million worth of expenditure in the next period in order to ensure that the union can live within a massively reduced means. That means that as well as looking at our costs as an employer, we're having to make £3 million worth of spending reductions in other areas of the union. That has meant exceptionally that we have had to take a decision to cancel or postpone this year's annual election. That's not a decision anybody wanted to take. Democracy is in our DNA, and we fought for the right to have annual elections. However, it has to be said that the £600,000 those elections would cost, the time and resource we would have to put into running them, would seriously detract from our ability, A, to financially survive, and B, to ensure that we can get most people signed up to direct debit as a priority. That is a decision that we'll discuss at our union's conference, and all of our branches will be able to have their say on it. But it's a decision we felt we had to take to get through this period ahead. And as you will see in the coming days, we've had to make other tough financial decisions. But I'm sure you do agree with me that they're decisions that we have to take if the union is going to survive. And to survive, we need to persuade our members to sign up to direct debit. At the moment, all of our efforts are going into ensuring that people continue to pay their union subscriptions. And you know, we've got some fantastic success stories to tell. In the Home Office group, in only a few short weeks, we've managed to get 73% of our members switched to direct debit. No other union in the UK has ever got near that level of sign up in such a short period of time. In fact, I genuinely believe it is only PCS who could do that because of the excellent activists and because of our understanding of the importance of activists in the workplace. But even in the Home Office where we've done so well, we still have 7% less members now paying subscriptions than we had a month ago. That gives you an idea of the scale of the threat. If the same situation happens in DWP, in HMRC and right across the union's income will plummet in April, May and June of this year. That will give us very real issues that we will have to confront in order to ensure that the union can not just stay afloat, but that it can campaign on members' behalf. So I urge your branch, if you haven't already, to get a plan to ensure that we get direct debit sign up across the board, that you do everything you can to persuade members to join, and where there are non-members, that we now use this opportunity to tell them they should join PCS. But there's other things we also want you to do. We're issuing now a pack to all branches, which is a campaign that is supported by the TUC, which is to oppose union busting in the civil and public services. It is designed to highlight the government's attempt to remove PCS from the map as a sinister anti-democratic move done by a government that ideologically hates unions. We understand, as do the TUC, it's PCS today, but it's other unions to follow if this government gets re-elected in May. That's why we have to show them that this bullying tactic isn't going to work. We have to campaign flat out to say there's never been a more important time to be in a union, and there's never been a more important time for the union to be vibrant and campaigning. And that's why we hope that your branch will use the campaign pack. It will do everything you can to talk to trade unionists in your town and your city, to write to MPs, to actually make sure that our campaign for independent trade unionism is a successful one. I'm sure we can be successful, but it will depend on all of us working together and committing ourselves over this very difficult period.